No, their love
And
lives are just popping. And when you've seen them Home
exactly,
Alone, you're like, how come my love life's not popping like this? It's
exactly,
just set and very
no fire like
unrealistic.
so. And I've seen, like you, I've seen the literature that I read, with my Kindle plan that I have, they give you a point towards a book. And I'm so very careful as to which book I choose. So you're looking for books like, okay, I thought I had this book, but I want to know if I had Urugu. If I have a physical copy, if I have it in PDF, do I want to listen to it on Kindle? That is my mindset now when I look at my reading material before atonism and my reading material now. And even my outlook on relationships,
Right.
So I've been married for 28 years, but when I look at my mom and my dad and even my Grammy and the type of relationships that they had, it was never the same thing that you watched. When you think about the Cosby Show was one of those shows that everybody loved to watch. I still like to look at some of the bits before where you had the lawyer, you have the doctor, and you have the perfect children who give their parents, you know, some problems sometimes. But, in your reality, you have an uncle who the police always knocking down your Grammy door every other weekend for, you know. These are things that my reality was as far as what was displayed on the media. So I don't know. So Sandy, you wanted to say something?
I was just asking because you all mentioned the literature that you were reading. And so where in the literature, if did you pinpoint the narrative of feminism as you were reading it? Are you able to now grab and say, oh yeah, I can see it. That was feminist. That was feminist. And if you have, can you point out some of those things that you read? Both of you.
Okay.
I'll go. I took this off the shelf because it made me laugh when my friend bought it for me. I don't know if you can see the title, The Angry
Go
Black
ahead.
Woman's Guide to Life. No, no guesses as to why someone bought that for me. I don't know. But it is satire. It's satire. And it's just a funny look at we have this stereotype of the angry black woman, so we might as well play up to it. Like what is our manifesto as angry black women? What should we be concerned about? What do we take pride in? And it's actually quite a good read from that sense, if you take it as satire and sarcasm. But I guess at the time, I would not have said that this is feminism, but this is what I think we would now call Black feminism. This very individualistic way of thinking. It very much promotes independence of the Black woman. It very much champions your right to choose, your right to freedom, your right to free speech and doing what you want whenever you want. Very little responsibility other than your children, very little responsibility to your community, very little purpose other than making your money and making yourself happy.
And
And
when you
I
say
don't think I realized at the time that that was a form of Black feminism. But in hindsight, or kind of, looking back over previous mindsets and mindsets that I've had to question myself over, yeah, it's a lot of this kind of thing, a lot of kind of um,
yeah,
fanciful literature that kind of stokes this thing about, Black women should be. And I can't lie, for a while that was very attractive. It became very attractive, this sense of as long as I've got my career, I'm respected. And as long as that career puts money in my pocket, I've got freedom. And I pretty much enjoyed my 20s and 30s based on that premise. I've got money in my pocket. I'm gonna go and explore, travel the world, etc., etc. And it's only now in hindsight, looking at perhaps it left a few gaping holes in my mindset, definitely around relationship experience. Um, it's sometimes just a double-edged sword because there's also a group of really lovely women that I met and became very close friends with. Single Black women, all good careers, all earning money. We traveled together, we laughed together, we had a great time. And now we're all pushing 40s, and a lot of them are still single and really craving a family. And it seems like their trajectory has taken them so far away from what they now realize is important. a sense of family, a sense of purpose, a sense of community. So it's interesting you asked a question about feminism because it wasn't something that was on my radar. I assumed feminism was a white woman's thing. It just never really caught my attention. But actually, stuff like this caught my attention, and realizing now that I bought into a lot of that. Has
When you
been a
say
lot of,
right to
questions, a
choose,
lot of
because you
self-reflection
mentioned
for me.
that in the book they spoke of your right to choose. Choose what particularly? Because I wanted to speak about that, but I want to be clear on what you read it from the standpoint of we have a right as females to choose what.
The path we want to take in life. I mean, if you have no real purpose and no real responsibilities, your choices are endless. You know, you can go and live in Bali and, do meditation every Monday. That having that choice feels like freedom, even if it's choices you don't even want. You just want to know that you got them because that feels like freedom. That feels like independence. You feel like a strong, capable person because I could, if I wanted to, hop on a plane to Thailand tomorrow and go and do some yoga. These are not even choices that we even care for.
A man limits that choice and that mentality, right? Like a man kind of takes away and limits the choice, the freedom to kind of get on the plane, do what you want, have these different.
Was that the premise you're saying?
Yeah. I'm asking because I know
Question?
I know from what I see with a lot of feminists, it's not that it's anything wrong with choosing per se, but it's just that if I see the black male in a certain way, and I choose that type of relationship, or if I choose that type of male, it limits me now to be able to make those type of choices. Does that make sense?
Understood. No, I can see that. But let me ask this, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking at the literature, can I ask if Sister Amani Nia, Sister Sherelle, Sister Zandi, and anyone listening, who are the publishers?
They're white publishers.
No, I don't want to just presume it. I'm asking for a reason. Any of those type of books, I'm trying to, if someone can go online and put like whoever wrote certain books, right? Who are the publishers? Because whoever's publishing it, that tells us the agenda, right? Because every publishing company, when you go to their homepage, they'll tell you, we are a Christian organization of blah, 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 blah. We are a such and such and such of such an XYZ. They're very clear to their agenda. It's not like it's something hidden. So I'm asking who are the publishers, because then we can go to their homepage and perhaps share online what their agenda is. Because we're reading, I know as a parent, and I'm sure all of you, the three of you are parents, and those listening online as mothers, when you go to give your children something to eat, you read the label, right? Or you check to see the ingredients. Some of them, you got the Simon and Schuster's, they have an agenda. Random House Publishing, they have an agenda. So I'm asking which companies, if you have any of the books, if you can run and grab it and come back and just because I want to know who's publishing these so we can go to their site and see what is their agenda. Every publishing company, there's Christian publishing companies that'll say, our job is to promote Christ in the lives of others. We are a Christian faith base. We will not print or publish anything that is not traditional Christian values, such and such and such and such. So that's very clear, when you go to them. I've gone to printers and publishing companies that said, we can't print your material because you're not traditional Christian values. Sorry. And then they'll refer me to someone else who may be more in line with this type of material that we're putting out. So I think.
So
Go ahead.
one of the publishers is Avon, Avon, and that's for the book Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert.
Okay.
Right. The publisher is Avon, Avon.
Okay. Avon Publishing.
And this Omar Tyree book is published by who you just mentioned, Simon and Schuster.
Okay.
They published this Black fiction.
So now notice, now what happens, this is Avon. If you just go initially and look it up, they'll say, oh, Avon, that's a Black company. So that's published by Black women. And so it's black, black, and black, black, and black, and more black. And if we stop there, but when you go here, what do we find? Avon Books is an imprint of HarperCollins Publications. They're the ones who do Vogue magazine. They're the ones who produce, what's the other one in the 60s when they hijacked the women's liberation? Vanity Fair, Cosmopolitan, Collins Publishers. So the agenda, they have an agenda. Do y'all understand?
Yes.
Let's read what the agenda is. It's one of America's preeminent publishing imprints, publishing the best in romance written by the finest authors, publishing award-winning romance and commercial fiction since 1941. When it says commercial fiction, fiction that's able to be commercialized, to sell product. Avon Books is widely credited with launching the historical romance genre, and our novels have evolved to reflect the times in which we live. We believe that love is love, and everyone is deserving of a deeply personal, empowering, happy ending. Whether it is romantic, the love of family and friends, or finding happiness in loving yourself. We are proud to publish inclusive and emotional stories where love in all its forms always wins. Once you understand, and most people will never look up the publisher, but once we understand the publisher's agenda, what is their goal? They're trying to promote fantasy.
Yes.
Happy ever after.
Mhm.
So we're going to read it and feel, man, my life, this is a happy ever after.
That's right. I want that. That's what I want.
I want happy ever after. Forever. What was the other publisher? No, before we shift, please, if we don't mind. The social media, did y'all pull up the other one? Because I want us, because again, this is, how many of us have ever done this?
Looked it up?
Never.
Just to see every publishing company,
No.
an agenda, and they have history, and you research about them, you will find out, oh, so these books are being written with a purpose. This is who is this here? These are the list of all the publishers in the UK, Pearson. Look at their revenue in millions of dollars. Reed Elsevier, Thomas Reuters, Reuters News, Wolters Kluwer, Penguin Random House, Hachette Livre, Holzbrinck, Grupo Panenta, Carnegie, McGraw-Hill. McGraw-Hill, they do all the education in America. They control all the textbooks in public education in America. But when we put up what's McGraw-Hill's mission statement?
Yeah.
Because they're the ones, if you have a child going to public school and in some private schools in America and the Caribbean, where McGraw-Hill is supplying your textbooks, we need to know what their agenda is.
Yeah.
We need to understand what the goal, what the plot. Because if we're looking at feminism and chauvinism and we're reading books by publishers who are purposely infusing thoughts into the minds of Black men and Black women towards one another, so Black love in literature and media becomes very
I
important.
have their mission statement.
What's the mission statement? What you got?
As a leading global education company, our mission is to partner with educators, learners, and professionals to help them access all the value that education can offer, no matter where their starting points may be. Through high quality, trusted content developed with world-class authors and flexible tools to meet the needs of different teaching and learning styles, our digital platforms adapt to help meet learners where they are and advance with them as they progress towards their goals.
Keep reading. For over 130 years, we have never stopped innovating to meet the ever-changing needs of educators and learners around the world, and will continue to support and celebrate their efforts every step of the way. Go down. Why did I say go down?
Because you can see their faces.
So we can see who's behind it. At McGraw-Hill, we are Red Cube proud. The Red Cube proud means a commitment to giving each other the room to be ourselves, to have the chance to share and have them be heard, and to celebrate, respect, and reflect the diversity of the learners we serve. Can you click on diversity, equity, and inclusion? We believe in unlocking the potential of every learner, every age. Go down. Now look at now. Cultivated inclusive culture, engage leadership, anticipate and understand customer needs, attract, develop, and retain diverse talent. Notice the visual, notice the people, notice and they are doing it in the Caribbean. They're doing it in higher education in America. They're doing it in the Middle East. I think, Matt, you just put it on the screen in the UAE and Saudi. So someone is, so when we talk about, and I'm going to say the word everybody runs from, right? Racism, right? White supremacy, right? And its influence in the Black, how I see the women, how I see the man. And that it is
come on, X9.
somebody with the microphone open. And we say that it is a system. We always say it's a system as if publishing is not a part of that system. As if, you know what I'm saying, the media is not a part of that system. Because these are the things that's running the system. This is what's promoting the system. When my son, as a 2-year-old, goes to school, if he's being read a book by McGraw-Hill, there is agenda in that book, because if you try to publish a writing by Malcolm X, they're going to tell you they can't. If you try to self-publish, they're going to say we don't deal with self-publishing. Why would you not deal with self-publishing? I can understand if you said I have to read it first to see that there's no vulgarity and things of that nature. But if the self-published book is in line with the published book, why won't you put it out? There's an agenda. That means there's an approved listing. You want it through that publisher, not just because they're going to vet it only, but you want it through that publisher because it's going to promote the agenda. So when we're looking at this idea now, and I would ask the three of you to jump right in, when we're looking at this idea of Black love, now we look at in literature and media, we've got this is something behind the gender war. Is that gender war real? Right? Because if I'm reading Snow White and Cinderella and Prince Charming and all of these things that don't show you and me, it's going to make me not want to be and deal with you. Right. It's not that somebody's telling me the white girl is easier to get along with. Sleeping Beauty is telling me that the white girl's easier to get along with because she don't cause no trouble in Sleeping Beauty.
And then you have Black writers writing about Black women getting together with white men. You know, the white man is a savior. You know, he's gonna be her happily ever after. And these are by Black authors. So
Black authors published by
white
publishers.
Yeah. Publish houses, yeah.
You understand? So, I just wanted to kind of throw that in there because I'm listening, but I'm like, well, published it. I didn't know either. I mean, it's not like I knew this like 15 minutes ago, right? So just so we're all on the same page.
Yes, okay. So it's a controlled narrative.
Go ahead. Jump in. Oh, so they social media just they punked us. We thought something was coming up on the screen. All right, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Let me just ask this. Was advocate for a second because I know people who would say this, right? And I believe it was Sister Sherelle who mentioned the word freedom, right? That it gives you a sense of freedom and you're able to do what you want when you read these books. This literature allows you to be free and to be a woman and to travel and to make choices. And so it seems like it's a difference between freedom under oppression and then freedom under liberation, right? But a person would say then
passport boys are doing the same, by the way. Yeah, they're getting their passports and they're getting some freedom too. So
that's what I'm about to say.
Okay, just making sure we clear.
Right, women and men. But people will say, okay, well, you offering culture, but doesn't it flip the narrative and now the man has freedom in your culture?
Freedom to do what?
The woman.
Freedom to do what?
Freedom to have multiple wives, freedom to move around as they would without having it's a different lifestyle. So wouldn't it be a different type of freedom?
No, but you just said the same thing. You said freedom, multiple wives, so I don't know how we got there, but okay. Right?
No, that's freedom. Okay, if you say that woman.
What I'm saying is you said that, then you said the freedom to move around by yourself, then that would be opposite to having a wife. The minute you have a wife, then you can't be freedom to move by yourself.
Not, okay.
So that's two different, I don't know what I'm saying makes sense.
Not necessarily, because a woman can have a husband,
Mm-hmm.
but she more so checks in with her husband. She more so,
So does a husband who's
the-
married. You got to check in with your wife.
but she look, okay.
No, come on.
she look- okay, I'm trying not to-
you can't bring the fire.
Okay.
The fire come back.
But
You're like,
does-
oh,
does the
snap,
wife
fire.
listen to the
Engine.
husband, or does the husband listen to the wife?
They listen to each other depending on the situation.
Yeah, because you have some husbands who would say,
Let me tell you why I'm saying that. There's things that hands know what to do. Certain things with babies, certain things with business, certain things with from a feminine perspective. I have no idea, right? There's things that I've experienced. I might say, no, we can't do it that way because of X, Y, and Z. But if you're talking, I think from what Sister Sherelle was mentioning, from the book that she was referencing and said, well, in this book, and it was called, she said it was more satire.
She mentioned a couple, yeah.
Right? No, the last one.
With the black.
That
The
one.
Angry Black Woman's Guide to Life.
Yeah, because it was speaking to live your life, do what you got to do, travel, see the world. That's not just something that Black women have bought into or believe in. Black men are doing the same. I know guys, Justin and them was doing this before there was a Passport Boys, back in the 90s, the early 90s, jumping on the plane, going around the world and trying just to find life because you realize Europe and America just wasn't what it was cracked up to be. Now, along that way, along this path of traveling and experience, as Sister Sherelle just said, you find that life is, there's a bunch of single guys right now who did the same thing.
So is that what you call chauvinism?
No, I'm saying chauvinism is white patriarchal doctrine, and it's found its way. But what did white patriarchal doctrine, what was chauvinism predicated on? They had extra women. What did they do with their extra women? They formed the cult of prostitution.
Yes.
They prostituted their extra women.
Okay.
And chauvinism was about pimping. So if we're going to talk chauvinism, the pimp says you can't have your own bank account because all them bitches got to break or pimp. I'm using the word before y'all say he said bitches. I'm just saying before you get mad at me. I'm talking pimpology. In pimp doctrine, when a man says you can't have your own bank account, he's a pimp. A pimp don't let the bitches get no money of their own. They can't have no bank account. They can't go nowhere without the pimp saying. They only wear what the pimp says to wear.
Okay, that's not culture. Okay, so you're saying that, you're saying that's not, okay.
That is the opposite. That's prostitution. I think we're confusing.
No, I said it because the video earlier that was playing on social media, right? It was a Muslim woman, and she was speaking about the whole thing didn't play, but she played a clip, and the woman on the clip was mocking of feminism, because there's a difference between feminism and feminist, right? According to what she was saying, having a woman that's just feminine, opposed to a woman that ascribes to the feminist mentality,
and again,
right?
Trying to become equal to the white patriarchal society. Yes.
Two different things.
Right.
So she was saying that a feminine woman gets mocked, and they look at that woman as if she does not have a voice, as if she just does whatever he says, as if when he says he wants to have sex, she just gives him sex. When he said do this, she just does it, and she doesn't have a voice, right? So that's what the
feminist movement promotes,
and that's the point of what I'm saying.
Right. Go ahead.
It would seem as if you're saying, okay, well, these women have
feminine women,
that they answer to their husband. If the husband said no, then it's no. But that man doesn't have to. He can listen to her opinion, but he doesn't have to say, okay, I'm gonna go by whatever it is that you said. He has the decision to say, I heard you, but it is what it is.
But that's not true. No, but that's true. No, because a woman could say, you're gonna do what you want to do, get out. Even a feminist woman, I don't mean feminine, okay, I'm because the word feminine, but a lady, can I use the word instead of saying a feminine woman?
Yeah, there's no, right.
Listen, no. And now that man has a choice to make to with that same course of action and lose that lady, or say, okay, she said no to whatever the no was. That is a choice. A woman has.
But actually, Basesh, earlier in the discussion, I had read something from the study, scientific study, published in an academic journal, where it said some of the ingrained sexual stereotypes mean that they don't do that. They don't feel empowered to say no to certain situations. They feel like, actually, I've bought into the narrative where if I need to attract this type of man, or I need to maintain this type of relationship, actually, I have to offer myself up sexually. There's no two ways about it. Even if I don't want to, there's a sacrifice to be made. I think Dr. Ford referred to a similar thing as hoe adjacent. You kind of,
who's the they? Because you said in the
interesting.
study, no, she said in the study,
yeah,
some women they. Which women they?
these were young Black women in New York.
In New
They
York.
happened to be young Black women in New York. Yes.
And they felt what? They felt what? Was it they felt?
That they
Had to
have
The study
offer
was looking at
themselves up.
The study was looking at sexual stereotypes, and they found that these sexual stereotypes created adverse sexual outcomes. So, for example, they would end up feeling disempowered in their relationships. They would end up having relations with men that they actually were, there was a power dynamic to the relationship that didn't necessarily benefit them, and things of the like. So where you're saying it was a choice, it wasn't actually a choice. There were ingrained stereotypes that were creating certain behavioral traits and behavioral patterns.
Good. I'm saying in culture, there's a choice.
Challenge that.
The women, if you're saying, go ahead, challenge.
Because it would seem like in culture, right?
Which culture?
Basesh may say.
Which culture?
African culture.
Which African culture?
The African
culture you're referring to, Basesh. When you say culture, that culture that you're referring to.
I'm talking about the Nazarite doctrine.
Okay, with the
scriptural culture.
With the Nazarite doctrine.
Cultural scripture.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
I'll be with you. Let's do this.
Would you, Basesh, would you say that if a woman did disagree with whatever the decision was and said no, and he left, that's not a smart woman, because she should know that she has to stick by her man, and that the pickings are very slim, and that she should choose her family.
No, you missed it. In culture says, I can't randomly just come up with something as a man. Culture says everything if this is the manual, what does the manual say? If the original books of the Bible is the manual, what does the manual say? If the Quran is the manual, what does the manual say? If the Tanakh is there's a manual. It's not arbitrary. Okay. What happens, unfortunately, now, if I have a man and I'm not studying that text to be able to emulate what I'm saying, or if you as a woman are not studying that manual to be able to articulate what you're saying, then the default is, well, because you said it, that's why it's right. Come on, devil. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Okay. Give me some examples. Okay, give me some examples. Right? Yeah, I'll do my job, right?
Okay.
Give me some examples.
Johnny, I'm going to jump right in. Sister Sherelle, come on in, bro.
Sister Nolly and Sister Sherelle, they got my back. We're speaking up for the women on the
Yes, we do. We got you, girl.
All the single ladies.
Right? So can you tell us all here today, what would be some examples of what a man would say, okay, I'll listen to what it is that my wife has said, and if she said no, then it's no.
Simple one.
And don't tell me about a brush in the bathroom,
no,
in the toilet.
That's where your mind went to the toothbrush in the bathroom.
Don't talk about the little stuff.
No, I'm talking about the real stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about polygamy, because you brought that up. Mm-hmm. In polygamy, right? I'm gonna use me because I'm crazy like that. I was married, right? Mm-hmm. In polygamy for about 20 years. Two of the wives can't do this no more, I'm out. No problem, it happens. Amicably, everybody goes their way. For 6 years, we're with the last one standing, right? Last man standing, last woman standing. This organization is growing, but it reaches a point in the organization where we need help. We have more orders coming in, more editing to do. It's just more of everything. The more members, it's more. We need help. Scripture says, help me. We need help. I'm saying to the wife at the time, hey, need the book covered. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Hey, this 6 years. Hey, we need help. It's not about sex. It's we need help.
I'm with you.
And she said, Well, I don't disagree with it and I don't want to mess up week whatever that's coming up, the Holocaust. I don't have anything against polygamy, but I don't want to do it. And I said, but we need help.
But did she come in under the pretense that okay, so
we need help.
Mm-hmm.
And if I took that stance of no, then everything that we've been able to do forward since doesn't happen.
But you know why you can get away with it?
No, not get away. There's nothing to get away with.
What I'm saying is, she came into that relationship knowing you're a polygamist, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, let's say somebody didn't. Let's say they were a couple, and he said, "We need help. This is what I want to do." But they didn't start their relationship like that. That she didn't have the right to say no. And listen.
Here's the point. And he does listen. He is on the screen right now wearing a blue shirt. Right? Because he needs help. No, I'm not being funny. Elder Johnny Moon can speak his situation. Dr. Tucker, I know a bunch of men who are in consciousness, who have more than one business, who need help, whose wives love them to death, do all the beautiful wife things, but don't help them when it comes to the business, and the business suffers because of it.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I'm with you.
Controversy. Let's go.
Just doing my job.
Wait, hold on. Elder Owen. There's nobody around right now. I ain't messing it up for you, man. Your microphone's muted. By the way, we can't hear you. But I'm just making sure I'm throwing you in the deep end of the swimming pool. You know what I'm saying? You came in here with your little scuba gear on. We still can't hear you. Your microphone's not. We're not picking you up. Sign off and come back in. Get your thoughts together. Get you a drink. Wipe your sweat. Get you a rag. Cut the speakers off. No, sign out and come back in. Just sign out, come back in. When you sign back in, it'll ask you to put your microphone on. But real talk.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I speak man, I translate women. And I talk to brothers. You off the top of my head, at least 15 brothers that are in the consciousness that are part of this organization, that are good men that need help. Because the wife that they're with, the woman that they're with, the woman that they love, the woman they have children with, but she said, I don't care. And they have to accept that. They've accepted that. They've accepted their business is going to struggle. They've accepted I'm not going to sleep around on you. Suffer. They've accepted I'm not, no, they've accepted that. Elder Owen?
I'm with you. I'm with you. This is when they're supposed to jump in and help me.
No, they was like, ooh, girl.
We agree, sis. We agree.
So the big problem is we've been conditioned to think like other people. So we're looking at these relationships and marriages from someone else's standpoint, ignoring the reality of who we are and the situations we find ourselves in. I just saw, I put it in the chat, this lady wrote a book saying she was made to pursue love like a white woman. And so when we are understanding that we are not in the same situation as they are, we don't have things in our favor like they do, things are being skewed and presented from their viewpoint. So we are at a disadvantage when we try to imitate their views on marriage and relationship